Good morning, children. You are welcome to SS class. Today, let us study the new chapter. Chapter 11, the national movement. First phase, the national movement. First phase. It's more, I said, the national movement. The first phase. The chapter 6, you have studied. Chapter 6, we have studied the anger and disappointment among the native people. God burst in 1858-57, resulted in the massive revolt. You know, we have studied the revolt 1857. Though the revolt was suppressed by the British, yet they became more careful and alert. British government after that they were very alert and they were careful. The British government realized that the company would not control such huge people of country. They understood they can't control that much huge people. So it is decided to take over the control of India or its hands. The British government assured Indians that they would get a better governance to pacify their anger. But the revolt of 1857 had already sown the seeds of nationalism in the hearts of the Indian country. Already, that revolt of 1857, spread the seeds of the nationalism in the hearts of the Indian people. The second half of the 19th century led the political awakening among the people. There was a growth of national consciousness and constantly a new kind of movement took shape. In this chapter, we have to study that about the rise of nationalism in India. The nationalism of India. Now, let us study the growth of nationalism. How became the Indian nation? How we got the nationalism? How the growth? Let us read the factors. There are some factors behind the growth of nationalism. Which are they? Which factors we have to study? So, let us see the main factors behind the growth of nationalism. First one, discontent against the British rule. First one is a discontent against British rule. Discontent means disappointment or no satisfaction. So, since most of the British policies were against the country, were against our country and the people, there was a disappointment in almost all sections of Indian society. People were not happy the rules and regulations of the British people. The peasants had paid to huge taxes. First, already we have seen that peasants are they have to give more taxes, and the Irishman reunited foreign competition. The factory workers received very low wages. Factory workers, those who are working in the government factories, they are giving low wages. And agriculture industry, they are not encouraged. Industry and agriculture, the British government not encouraging. They treated India as a source from where raw materials would be obtained cheaply. They want only raw materials from our country. They encouraged for getting for the raw materials. And as much absorbed British goods, employment opportunities for the educated Indians were limited. Only very limited persons only educated. India was made to pay the ante of the British army and was to British fort. Continuous supplement of the India's wealth to Indian people, they have to give more wages in India. The second point we have to study that the political administration education. Political, the second point we have to study that political, administrative and economic unification of the country. Here we have the first point, it's very important. We have to study some question and answer also. We have to study all these points. India, the first time unified by the British real sense. The British introduced a uniform system of government, uniform system of the governance throughout the country. Laws, and at least in the theory, were uniformly applied to all, uniformly for the appearance of Indian people. They wanted to Indian people to satisfy something. That is why they are doing this political some uniformity in India. Their uniformity applied to all. Economic life in India became interlinked after the introduction of the modern industries. People from all parts of the country worked in these industries. By working and traveling together, caste, community and religious feelings began to weaken. So now we can see some positive points of the British government took from because first the people from all the parts of the country work these industries there, and they working and traveling together, and some caste, community and religious feelings began to weaken. A feeling of solidarity and togetherness developed. Like that feeling of togetherness they developed. The railway, telegraph, postal system helped people to come to contact with one another. And also, other points, positive points, postal and telegram. They had to contact the people through the system. The first time they started in India, like that. The railway, telegraph, postal system helped the people to come contact with one another. People realized that British rule was responsible for their sufferings. People think that they are support the Indian people. People realized that British rule was responsible for their suffering. This anti-British feelings was a major factor that contributed to the rise of nationalism. Like that, people are contacting with the letters and they are traveling together. They are like that. One more, second point is nationalism, political level, administrative level, and economic unification together. This is one factor is that the nationalism arising nationalism. Second points. So it's very important. They are together, working together, all together they are going, working together and administration together. All this like that arising their nationalism. They are together, the feeling of together. So third point is the spread of modern education. Spread the modern education. So that point also very important to study the spread of the modern education. The spread of the modern education. That point we have to study the spread of the modern education. It is very important. The spread of the modern education also helped in the rise of nationalism, of feelings of nationality feeling. The British had introduced modern Western education. For that, maybe they think if they get modern education in India, they will obey the British rules and they can control the people. So they started the modern education. Let us see. The British had introduced modern Western education to prepare some Indians to work Western education. Some teaching for the work to low post in the administration. The British had introduced modern Western education to prepare some Indians to work to low post in the administration. The British also believed that if Indians were exposed to Western thought and ideas, they would become supporters of British rule in India. This is the main important point. The people, if they give the more Western education, that people should be support the British rule in India. That's why they started the modern education. This also to become the practice of the nationalism, the one point of the nationalism. The British expected that since educated Indians would be dependent on the employment, they would always remain loyal to them. However, their expectation proved to be wrong. As versus the Western ideas made people more conscious of their rights. Modern education, they enlighten their intelligence. They more thinking and think more. Their rights, about their rights they are thinking. The people are thinking. The people of India are thinking of their rights. Not only the role of British, but our Indian people freedom. They were imposed by the ideas freedom and equality, popularized by the American and French revolutions. They began to criticize the government for suppressing these ideas in India and denying basic human rights in Indians. So they are popularized by the American and revolutions. The people, they are arguing their ideas. Introduction of the English as a medium in education resulted as a great advantage for the native people. For studying the English, introduction of English as a medium in education resulted in a great advantage for the native people. It enabled people different languages of communicating with each other and share their views. So that is the main points. To spread the modern education, the main point of the party of being the growth of nationalism. Now it is the next point. Role of press. That's role of press. Press, have you seen press? Print. How we can go to print press. So how it affected the print also. Now let's just the main points. Let us see. First point, misconduct against the British rule. Disappointment against the British rule. Second point, political, administrative, and economic unification. Third point, spread of the modern education. Now, all the role of press. This is going on how the fact is going on our nationalism, how the people arising against the British people. It is going on. It is not only one day to do. It is going on. The people are going on every day. They are studying and developing their nationalism. Now, the role of press. The Indian press played an extremely important role in strengthening the national consciousness. Once more, I will say the Indian press played an extremely important role in strengthening national consciousness. Okay, the newspapers of the period highlight the anti-Indian policies of the British government, anti-Indian people of the British, that means the people, realize the people. The role of the press, the very important part of the growth of nationalism. In the spread, the newspapers period of the highlight the anti-Indian policies of the British government. Newspaper, very important. The media is a newspaper that time. At that time, we had no other TV, other than but this everything is spreading through the newspapers. The newspapers period that time they highlighted the newspapers in that period. You understand that the role of the press, main point is the newspapers. You have to study that the both people, British and the vernacular press became the medium to the mobilized public opinion and create a feeling of national bounty. The government tried to suppress that growing feeling of the nationalism and patriotism by banning newspapers and books. These attempts, however, failed. So, it is the role of the press important for the nationalism. They write about the nationalism for the people. They are for the things they write in the newspapers. Something they banning the newspapers also. Unless that time they banned it. Now, let us conclude here. Thank you very much for your watching.